Hey, what's your name and how are you feeling?
Yeah, my name's Will Christian. Feeling great. Been here at the network school for about a week now.
Yep.
Awesome people like yourself.
I feel like every person you meet, it's very likely that they are interesting in some way.
Yeah,
Balaji has done a good job.
right. Like, usually I would consider myself an introvert. Like, I get tired of talking to people all day, but here, everyone is so interesting and we all kind of have a good vibe together that I don't feel tired. I feel like I'm becoming an extrovert here.
I agreed. I did feel a couple nights like I feel like wow, I have been very social. Like I needed some not the evenings for myself. But the
Right.
days just excellent.
Yeah, I think the first week, you're still meeting everyone. I think by now most of us have met each other.
Yep.
So we've kind of got past that initial phase. And now it's time to, start focusing more on what we're building, try to find time for ourselves during the day. But yeah, once you get up to the top of the hotel and, you're with everyone, you just find yourself talking for hours and hours. And,
It's easily done.
yeah.
But it's a good point you make. I feel many are focused on working. It's kind of okay to just, hey, I'm gonna do my thing.
Yeah, I think some people started to just kind of lock themselves in their hotel room. I know I found a good space up there in the co-working spot. I think I'm going to order a nice monitor to help, with the programming projects.
You ordered, or who?
I'm about to. Some of
Nice.
the other guys already kind of marked their territory up there.
Ah.
So yeah, there's plenty of open desks. I think if you just set down your monitor, you'll have that little spot. There's plenty of space up there.
Make it yours. What are you working on? I saw you posted something about investments, but
Right.
what are you spending your time on at the moment?
So far here, I've been working on the bounties that Balaji's been posting on Farcaster. The one that interested me most is the slide, like AI conference validator slide bounty, which is basically meant for people like Balaji, Vitalik, Brian Johnson when they're putting together their slide decks for the conferences. It's a real big time saver for them because otherwise they have to go through all these slides from everyone, make sure it's in the right theme, the right font.
Yep.
So we're creating an application that just does that all automatically for them.
Is it goes through an LLM or how are you doing it?
Yeah, so the first part is pretty much in Python where we just check the different formats like a PowerPoint format, a PDF. I know Balaji likes to use Figma, which is this new app from one of his friends. And from then, like we get a few checks, like the number of slides, different font styles that it has. And then once we have that, then we start to use AI, like the OpenAI API, which from that perspective, the point of the rest of the code is to see like how well the slide fits into the theme of the conference. So at the end of after we're done with that, it'll basically have a list of checks that has to be checked off for the attendee to be able to submit the slide.
Are you doing this as a team or are you doing it yourself?
I'm actually working with, I'm getting nervous.
No stress, dude.
Yeah, I'm actually working with Kwan. He's a guy from Singapore. I think he works for a Solana project. Yeah, he works for a Solana team, and
Had you programmed a lot before coming here or not?
yeah, I studied computer science in
Nice.
college. And after college, I went to work for a consulting company in the U.S. So I was traveling around the U.S. a lot, and I didn't like have one main theme for programming that I was doing. I was doing a lot of different stuff.
That's good, I think, to just
Yeah.
explore, find what's interesting.
But yeah, the past 2 years, I've kind of taken a break from programming, so now I'm really diving back into it with the bounty. And after doing a few of these, I think I'll work more on like other projects with other people here.
Yep.
Maybe start some kind of startup here.
I feel like many people are looking for the possibility to see what you want to create.
Right.
And the bounties by Balaji are kind of interesting also.
Yeah, they're
Like-
very interesting. They're challenging, and it's not even the reward that we're seeking is just the challenge, and even if it gets like an honorable mention by Balaji, or if he just sees it and sees what we did, that's worth it.
From Balaji's perspective, he gets, he wants this slide checker, or he wants something being built, so he can put out that $1,000 bounty and 50 people build it. That's
Right.
nice. And for the people building, it's a win as well.
Yeah, and it's not just us. He's posting it on Farcaster. There's people all over the world that are probably seeing that post and in their little house in India or somewhere in Africa, and they're working on it as well. So it's not just us competing, it's everyone in the world.
Is it so that the bounties are open for anyone?
Yeah, it's sort of public Farcaster, so anyone who follows him there is going to see it, and they can submit it.
That's the beauty of the internet.
Right, yeah. So
I think
he knows what he's doing. He's already built, a huge following on social media. So there's a lot of people that want to get his attention, and it's good for him. There's so much competition. He's going to end up with great results from any bounty that he posts.
Yep. And it's going to be a learning experience for sure. How you felt otherwise about there's the burn, the earn, and learn? Like, what about the burn aspect? Have the workouts today in the morning?
Yes, I love the workouts. They're pretty short, about 20-25 minutes total. We go on the treadmill for half of it, do interval training, which is really, I think a lot of science has been proven lately that that's a great way to train, keep your body young.
Yep.
Then we also incorporate some weights, some body weight training. I've been training for a while, so...
You are already jacked, my man.
I'm not jacked, but,
I would say you're pretty jacked.
I love doing kettlebell training. That's what I've been doing, really since I was in college. So I think I'm going to start going more into the gym in the afternoon to get back into the kettlebells. They have some kettlebells in the room.
Do the doubles.
Maybe you can join me one day.
I was just this morning thinking, I want to do a bit more weights. Because the body weight is still... I would be down for that, for sure.
Because you're eating 10 eggs in the morning and you have all this protein in your body. You can get jacked if you start lifting some weights more.
We will do it. That's the plan. That's the plan. Where did you go to university? Where are you from?
So originally I'm from Augusta, Georgia, deep south. It's the home of the Masters tournament. I lived there until I went to college and ended up going to college. First I started in a smaller college called Georgia Southern. It's actually known as a party school where I'm from.
I feel like every school in the US is the party school.
Right.
It's just wild like that.
Yeah, so I started there. Got into some trouble my first year. My grades were terrible. After my first year, my dad basically told me, you better get it together or you're done.
I'm not paying for this.
So after that, I got it together. I got my grades up. I got in Georgia, we have this scholarship program. If you maintain at least a B average, you get pretty much all your tuition paid by the state.
Nice.
So I got that, and then I transferred to it's a pretty well-known school in the States called Georgia Tech. It's really focused on engineering and STEM education.
So when did you graduate? When did you stop studying?
2017.
2017. So that's still quite a while ago. How did you get in on this track? You find yourself here in Malaysia on Balaji's network.
So I've been following Balaji for, I want to say 4 or 5 years. I think I first...
That's pretty early, actually.
Was introduced to him on a Tim Ferriss podcast, one of the first ones he did.
Same. I after he did it, maybe a year or so after he did, but still.
Yeah, so I've had him on my Twitter following or notifications for probably 2 years now, because everything he posts just so insightful. And as soon as I saw him post this network school, I read the first line of the tweet. It said, "We have an island." And I immediately applied. I didn't even need to read the rest of it.
Yeah.
Because I heard him talk about the network state idea. I knew what that is about, and I could easily connect it that that's what this was. So
I feel like if you know a person, you don't have to read the description. You kind of trust that this is going to be good based on who's organizing.
Right. Yeah.
I felt the same way.
Yeah, Balaji Yeah, no, he's built up his reputation. Anyone who is interested in tech in the Western world knows Balaji.
Yeah.
So to have him like,
I wouldn't go that far though. My sibling is, my brother is an engineer, and I have several friends studied engineering. They're very into tech, but they wouldn't know who Balaji is. I feel he's still
are they on social media?
not really. They're
Okay.
just, 9 to 5 engineers
Well, I can see that, yeah. If you're just really,
still they're
head
like
down.
brilliant, and they think
Right.
about AI, think about technology, but maybe not in that. They're not in the Twitter space.
Right, yeah. I think you gotta kind of be in the Twitter space as well.
But they should be following him, because I think yes. Anyway, yeah. So you've been following him for a long time, and that's the way.
Right. How about you? Did you also find him through, you said you found him on a Tim Ferriss podcast
Yeah,
too?
I think it's the same podcast, like
Same
that one that
podcast.
blew up.
Uh-huh.
It was around that time I was getting into crypto, so he talked a lot about Web3, and just he had a lot of insights on that.
Right.
But that's how I got into it, via crypto essentially.
Yeah, and I think one of the big things, Balaji, that really put him on the radar of even more people is what he was posting at the beginning of the pandemic. He pretty much was like one of the first people on Twitter to say this was serious. I think that's actually what caused him to move from the States to Singapore, I heard last night.
Right, to say what was serious.
COVID-19. Like he saw the early videos in China, and he was like, oh shit, like this is gonna spread. He saw the rate of spread that it had, and he realized he needed to bug out of the US because
That's when he left.
yeah,
I didn't know that.
that was the reason he left.
But obviously there was also the reasons of how the US is kind of, in his mind, diminishing
Right.
economically and politically also.
Yeah, that's a big part of his thesis on the world. He gave a kind of off-the-cuff talk 2 nights ago up at the hotel, and I think everyone there kind of got spooked. Were you in that room?
No, what was that about?
Oh, man.
Did
Well,
he was just chatting in the evening?
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff he's been saying in podcasts and social media the past year or so, but it was kind of even less filtered than what we've heard so far. It's really just the hard truth, at least of how he sees things playing out right now.
So he was even more pessimistic on the US and the dollar, essentially, or something else.
Yeah, I mean, he pretty much thinks it's gonna collapse, like the USSR collapse, but even worse.
Ouch.
I mean, he thinks people's pensions are gonna be wiped. He thinks the markets. I mean, he said one of the things he said is that like the financial crisis was just a preview. The 2008 financial crisis is a preview of what he thinks is coming in the next 5 or 10 years. Same with the BLM riots in 2020. He thinks that's just gonna be expanded to a whole nother level of violence in the U.S. and not just the U.S. but the whole Western world.
Yeah.
So you really kind of saw the deep reason of why he's here. It's not just to create a new network school. It's also to help people escape from what he thinks is coming, which is it's kind of spooky. I was sitting on bed, like trying to go to bed after that. I was actually considering withdrawing my retirement accounts and just putting it in the cold storage Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if that happens, then I bet most of the retirement accounts will get wiped, pensions, and people will just be shell shocked.
Yep.
Like just like USSR, other collapses of societies, like a lot of people really didn't see it coming, and then when it came, they just like couldn't really understand what would happen so quickly.
Yeah.
So, but I'm also, I think it's good to be optimistic. There's also a lot of things, so many things changing in the world. We have robotics coming, artificial intelligence.
It might come just in time to save us, like the AGI type scenario.
So I think that'll be a huge productivity boost to a lot of countries that are struggling right now economically. But yeah, here I've been in Asia a few times already, but I was really surprised a week ago or a few days ago when I went into Johor to see the dermatologist. And I talked to someone else who had been to a doctor early in the week, and they said it cost about $150. I was like, oh, okay, so she means like $150. So I got all that money out of the ATM, went there, and they gave me the bill at the end. I saw the doctor. He gave me about 4 prescriptions, and the total was 140 ringgit, which is like 40 bucks, 40 US bucks. So I was super happy with that, and the whole service was amazing.
Yeah.
It was quick. Doctor was great. I mean, the place was clean. It's not what you would think. And like at first I thought US healthcare was good, but just expensive. But now I'm like, it's not even that great. And it's crazy expensive, so.
It's the graph Balaji or somebody showed of like the Asian GDP has gone past
Right.
the West,
Yeah.
the G7. So they are actually doing more and
Yeah.
in some ways better.
Yeah, you see it here, you see it in Vietnam. I want to go see China and see, I think from Balaji's perspective, he was really saying that you need to go see China because that's an eye-opener for a lot of Westerners who...
I saw you post that. I would be curious also to visit,
Right.
just to see like what the technology is like. And to the point about Balaji and how he's trying to change, was he described that he feels like he has a demon chasing him? The collapse, is coming.
Yeah, he says he's working on this, network school, trying to ramp it up, but the things he sees happening in the world, he feels like it's just coming faster and faster. He has to move, work harder and harder to make it happen quicker and quicker. That's why he's always not catching his 8 hours of sleep. You can see it.
Right. Yeah, so that's why things have been happening quite quickly with this.
Oh, yeah.
And is happening. The team is really doing a lot.
They really are just working all out. Not just Balaji, everyone here.
Yeah.
Justin, all the people on his team are just, you never see them taking a break. They're just going all out every day.
Yeah. But so you didn't take out your savings account yet?
No, not yet. I need to call my bank. For the U.S., if you take it before, I think you're 55 of the Roth IRA, you need to pay a 10% fee to the government, which...
Of the whole value.
Right. I mean, it's not that big of a deal if what happens... I mean, if what Balaji thinks actually happens, that would be nothing.
And then you get to invest it yourself.
Right. It's totally...
Yes.
Yeah, it's basically just like cash in your bank account, or you can move it to Bitcoin, you can move it to a brokerage account.
Could you also, in theory, just spend it on gambling? And
Totally, yeah. You can do whatever you want once you pay that 10% fee. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's also traditional IRA, like the Roth IRA. Basically, I pay tax on that before I put it into the account, so it's non-taxable. But I also have the other one, which is traditional IRA. So once you take that out, you actually pay like income tax on that as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you think on investments right now? Anything you are excited about in crypto or in normal stocks or just in general?
Oh yeah, so I think right now the small cap stocks, like the Russell 2000 in the US, is a pretty good buy right now because the Fed just started cutting rates. And these small companies, they're really affected by the cost of capital. When rates are high, they depend on a lot of loans from banks, so they have to pay a lot more interest fees.
So when you say small cap, that's like an index of small companies in the US.
Yes.
Right.
I think it's like 500 million market cap or less, or $1 billion or less or so. Yeah. But like the opposite end of the spectrum is companies like Google, Apple, that have a huge balance sheet of cash. So they're not really affected. They don't really care much about the rates. And, we've seen those stocks just boom in the past few years, even as rates are high.
Okay, that's one.
Is this the golf course out here?
I hadn't realized, but yeah, it looks like it. Or is it?
I can't tell. It doesn't look like it.
It's like an opening,
We see the
trees,
posters in the elevator. I'm still waiting to see it in person, but...
Yeah, the golf place.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's on the Malaysian mainland. Maybe.
Maybe. We'll see. What about you? Do you invest right now, or?
Yeah, I like. What am I doing? I was pretty bullish on Tesla. Still kind of am.
Same here.
I feel like, or maybe Elon. I like what Elon is doing,
Right.
and I find that he is kind of. So many people have this weird hate for Elon.
Yeah.
That I think it's not calculated right, the price.
Yeah, I don't
Like
understand it.
it's kind of emotional things, people.
Yeah, especially in the States, everything's political. Like
Yeah.
when I go back, everything. So people that used to like Elon, now that he's kind of gotten more political, now they don't like him.
He's become very a polarizing figure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I kind of believe in what he's doing. So Tesla, I'm not nothing that I'm very sure of right now. Like this is a good thing.
But yeah, Tesla is actually the biggest like single stock position I have. I think they have a showcase coming in like a week.
The 1010, right?
Right, to show the robotaxi. Maybe they'll show the progress on the Optimus robot, which that's really why I bought the stock. I think.
Okay, you're
That's
bullish
the-
on the robots, human
Yeah,
robots.
Yeah, I think it's the next big consumer product, like after the smartphone. I think most people, maybe in 20, 30 years, are going to have at least one robot. Elon's even said he thinks there'll be 2 or 3 Optimus robots or personal robots per person on the globe.
Yep, it seems like a natural way.
So we'll have them like walking around with us in our house. Maybe you'll be interviewing one as you walk around.
This morning, one fella he shared a story of when he was in China. He was taking a cab, and when he came into the cab, this small robot came up from like in the front of the car, and it looked like some Star Wars robot, and he started talking with the driver like Chinese.
Right.
Like drive here, and it pointed, not to the left. And when he said something in English, the thing just turned to him and started, hello there, okay, started talking English. It was kind of a bot in the taxi.
Yeah, I think that was Patrick. Yeah.
Yeah, you were there.
It was. He said it was a Neo car. I had no idea about that. I want to go look at a video of it because I'm still trying to picture it in my head, like what the little robot looks like.
Yeah, but it sounds science fiction now, but we are probably going to interact with physical robots a lot more, starting with our cars and then to everything else.
Yeah, I think cars are like the first step. Like a lot of the Tesla cars now have full self-driving, so they're basically just driving you around.
Although, have you tried the full self-driving? I tried it when I was in the States this year in California. And it works on normal roads, but once you go into some a bit off-road or not normal, then I felt not safe using it.
Really?
Yep.
What did it feel like? Was it like moving?
I was sitting by the driver seat and we were doing some small roads up in the hills, and I felt like if I hadn't taken control, it would have driven off the cliff. Kind of. Yeah,
Okay, that's scary.
no joke.
That's pretty scary.
It was a very small road. Yeah, it was. You gotta be still vigilant sitting by the wheel.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only way to really make it to be good is just to have a ton of experience on the real roads, which is what they're doing. Of course, there's going to be issues that happen, but at the same time, I'm sure if you look at it, from the big point of view, the amount of crashes that have happened with FSD cars, I'm sure it's way less than human drivers.
That's, I
I'm
suppose,
sure that'll get better and better.
that's the thing, that they get better, but humans stay the same.
Right. Like it's the same with aviation to a degree. Anytime there's a jet that goes down for any reason, there's so much.
Maybe we go on the.
Yeah. There's so much thrown at figuring out why that happened that, as like in the future, just gets safer for the total industry.
Right.
Like the number of plane crashes has just gone down and down and down.
You just learn.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. And then still on the investment point, I don't know anything that I'm sure of, just that it's good to be invested in a way. Like it's something just because of the inflation that's hitting.
Yeah.
I feel like index is probably one of my biggest still.
Yeah, it's a safe way to go. Unless what Balaji says happens and you're gonna get screwed at one point. But I think having some Bitcoin, maybe Ethereum, if things really if the roast chickens come home to roost with $1, then those would probably be good assets to have somewhere.
But if like a 2008 type of crash happened now, wouldn't Bitcoin also crash? Like it's an asset, it seems to be correlated with a lot of normal assets.
Yeah, it could. It would probably crash like initially, just like it did during when the COVID crash happened. But after the Fed started, pumping liquidity in the market, cutting rates, then it just rocketed even higher than it's ever been. So you have to be able to handle that type of volatility. If you're using leverage, then you could get totally liquidated during a crash like that.
Actually. Yeah, but it's interesting times for sure, these changes.
Right.
At the same time.
But yeah, Malaysia, how do you like this tropical weather? You're not used to it from Finland, are you?
No, it's hot, but I like it.
You like it?
Yeah, I'd much rather it to be hot than cold.
Right.
Although when I do these walk and talks, I noticed it's hot.
So
Yeah, it would be better to do it in morning or evening time.
I see.
But I like it. Have you been traveling a lot?
Yeah, this whole year I've been living in Buenos Aires until about 2 weeks ago. So I haven't really spent much time in Latin America before that. But I was excited I've always heard good things about Argentina. I spent a lot of time in Europe, and I really like the ways the cities are designed there, how walkable they are, the beautiful architecture. And Buenos Aires is kind of known to be, it's called the Paris of South America.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because it has a lot of that influence from the
Nice.
Europeans that immigrated there.
How are you thinking now? Are you gonna stay in Southeast Asia or going back to Buenos Aires at some point?
I'm sure I'll go back there at some point next year. I'm definitely going to stay here for 3 months at least. I think I'm staying open-minded, like I think a lot of people are here. I'm just going to see how this goes, but it seems like it's the start of something really awesome. So I think we'll always have a home here if we want to come back or even relocate here.
It does feel that way. But then again, it's often in the beginning of things. Everyone is so excited.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
We believe.
We should think about it again in a month, 2 months, see how everything's going.
But I do have a real feeling about this one. We'll see. What is something from Buenos Aires that you miss or that was special?
I miss the cafe culture there. Especially in Palermo, any block you walk to has 3 or 4 cafes, all unique. They all have their own little style.
Fuck yeah.
It's a great place to work, great place to meet people. And yeah, the people are really open. I speak a little bit of Spanish, so I can get around there pretty easily, talking to people, and they're very friendly. Here, there's more of a gap, I think, between the cultures, between like us and the local Malaysian.
Yep.
Which they're also very nice. They're always smiling. They're very calm people, it seems like.
Yep.
But I don't speak their language. A lot of them don't speak English, so it's hard to really.
It's a bit of a barrier.
Right.
That's true actually. What is something you ideally would want to see happen during these 3 months? What would be a good outcome? You can also be open-minded and see what happens, but is there something specific you're aiming for?
Yeah, I would like to have decided on a project. I think there's several people I like working with here. We've already discussed different business opportunities.
Were you doing the smoothie thing?
Yeah, I'm doing the smoothie.
That's a good start. But I like also that finding people you like and then kind of just discuss.
It's the biggest thing. Having people you really like working with.
Yep.
You can change your mind on the business idea, but really having that glue, that knowing you work well together with these people, that you get along well. Like I worked in a really big corporation for 4 years, and it's really draining because you're in these different companies working on projects. You kind of have to act fake in a way. There's this whole political climate around it, and it doesn't feel real. Like
I agree.
it does here.
I agree so much.
Totally.
What is that thing Naval says that play long-term games with long-term people? So people you can get along with long-term is probably a good thing.
Totally. I think Peter Thiel, he wrote a book, 0 to 1. It's also the same kind of a message in there. You want to really have, the type of co-founder or group of founders that get along well. Like, He kind of had a PayPal at the beginning.
Yep.
And you look at them all, they're all extremely successful still.
True.
I think it's Elon, him, Reid Hoffman, I forget the others, but just giants in the tech world.
Yeah. So finding people that you get along with, and then just doing stuff, throwing things at the wall, see what sticks, kind of.
Yeah, I think it really is just trial and error, trial and error. If you read about innovation, the light bulb, I think Edison had a quote that the reason he invented the light bulb was because he ran out of things to try. He just kept trying different things, and finally something worked. Mm-hmm. And I think it's just, about iterating, and then being able to tell, being able to gauge if something's working or not.
Yep.
And just going at it when it does.
Yep, it does seem that way, that you just have to try. You cannot just think it through.
Yeah.
And wait for the golden idea.
Yeah, I know I've spent time procrastinating, just thinking about stuff, but you start feeling good when you're just taking action. And
amen, brother.
Yeah, even if you're just learning a new language that's going to help you in your project you have in mind, just doing one step, even if it's a small step, doing something every day, you're going to start feeling good.
Especially if you have a tendency to overthink, as I do. I must focus on action. Otherwise, I so easily just what's the word? Well, don't do anything. It's better to lean towards action than inaction.
Right.
For me.
Totally.
Because I will still overthink it.
Yeah, I think when you're on your deathbed, it doesn't matter about all the different feelings you had 20 years ago. All it really matters is what you did, what actions you took.
And the relationships, of course, the
right,
human relationships are one part of it.
Of course. But yeah, man, this is a amazing opportunity. We're so lucky to be here.
I feel the same.
There's a ton of people that are, trying to get here. I've even seen a lot of people that are just hanging out around. They've applied, but they haven't been accepted yet. But
she's flying a drone next to us. But true, this is a special opportunity.
Totally.
But let's make the most out of it.
So, when are you joining me for a kettlebell workout?
Maybe today.
Today, maybe?
No, not today, actually. Not today. Let's get back to it. I was thinking after the morning workout, it would be possible to just after that hit some kettles, or whatever weights.
Have you been staying in the gym after, or usually go back and get breakfast?
I saw some people staying in the gym, but I haven't.
Right.
But I think that's well, you're still there anyway. Might as well.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I get so hungry after. I just go straight to the buffet breakfast.
It's pretty good.
Around this time in the afternoon, I kind of want to get back in the gym.
But the coordinated workouts have been really good, I feel.
Yeah, the trainers are great.
Just somebody pushing a little bit.
Yeah, the trainers are really good.
Every day.
They have the time really on point. They do a great job of coordinating everyone. And yeah, they've definitely thought all this stuff through.
For sure.
I can feel my cardio's getting a lot better running on that treadmill.
And walking this.
Oh yeah, walking back and forth.
Thanks, dude, for letting me pull you out of your work for this walk and talk. Where can people find you online if they want to?
So my Twitter handle is BT_WIS. That's really where I'm the most active right now.
It's nice that everyone is kind of on X.
Oh yeah, I'm sure everyone here is on X. Farcaster, we're still trying to get ramped up with that.
Tomorrow is the Farcaster, learn about Farcaster session.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I'm going to be there. Hey, thanks, dude.
Thanks.
It was good.